Welcome to Unlocking Potential, a podcast from Baldwin Technology. We're fueled by 100 years of innovation, providing the top hardware, software, and consumables to automate, enhance, and apply intelligence to production processes. Join us and learn how you can unlock your full potential. Welcome to the premiere episode of Unlocking Potential, a Baldwin Technology podcast that focuses on providing insights into printing and industrial process automation and enhancement. I'm your host today, Tyler Kern. We were inspired to provide this virtual resource amid the pandemic that abruptly and indefinitely put on hold industry trade shows and conferences. Those venues provided an avenue for the exchange of information and ideas, a meeting of the greatest minds, and up-close, hands-on learning to keep up with the ever-advancing technologies and processes offered by Baldwin and our industry peers worldwide. Let's hope those in-person opportunities will return soon, but until then and beyond, in this virtual world that keeps us connected, we're excited to add a new venue to keep information, ideas, and collaboration flowing. Each episode will serve as an in-depth educational resource, providing expert knowledge and insight from Baldwin's resident team of experts and special guest thought leaders about engineering and manufacturing solutions for printing, packaging, and converting, textile, production, film, extrusion, and other industrial applications. Fueled by 100 years of innovation, Baldwin Technology is a leading global manufacturer and supplier of innovative process automation equipment, parts, service, and consumables for a number of industries. Baldwin not only provides new equipment to its customers, but also dedicates resources to maintaining and servicing existing equipment with quality replacement parts, highly engineered consumables, and engineering services that include upgrades and retrofits, in addition to regular maintenance. Today, I'm sitting down with Baldwin Chief Marketing Officer Steve Metcalf and Chief Commercial Officer Peter Hultberg to give you, our listeners, a first look at the insights for improving print quality that you'll hear on Unlocking Potential. Well, everyone, we're going to begin by introducing Chief Commercial Officer Peter Hultberg, who will be taking a look back on Baldwin's long history and how it's evolved, which has laid the foundation for where it's heading in the future. And so, Peter, with that look back, how long have you been with Baldwin? Let's start off there.
I've been with Baldwin for about 20 years plus right now. Joined the company in 1995 when they acquired a company that I was working with.
So tell us how the company began and how it's grown and changed and evolved over the years.
I'll be happy to do so, Tyler. So Baldwin was actually founded back in 1918 by William Gegenheimer. He was an ex-printer and a press service technician in Baldwin, New York, and he invented the Baldwin press washer, a product that reduced the time to clean a press from hours to minutes. This was actually the first of many process innovations that Baldwin had presented to its customer during its first part of its 100-year-long history. Harold Gegenheimer, the son of William, joined the business, and in the beginning of the 1960s, he became the president of the company. And he was later joined by Wendell Smith, and under their common leadership, Baldwin started an international expansion into key markets such as Japan, China, Germany, and the UK. The early Europe and Asia presence, with Japan being established already back in 1968, really accelerated the growth of the company. It was an exciting time. A key year for Baldwin is 1976, when we launched the automatic blanket cleaning system, a technology that automatically cleans all of the blankets in a printing press, improving the press uptime, print quality, and printer safety. This product also received the Graphic Arts Technical Foundation Award in the mid-80s for a product expected to have significant impact on the printing industry over the next 5 years, which it truly did and still continue to do, both in print and now also in other industries. 1983, Wendell Smith and a group of the other owners made a management buyout of the company, and in 87 they took the company public. The following years were busy in terms of acquisitions, with companies added like Cancer Corp, Enkel Corporation, Staub, Misomax, and several more that's not mentioned became part of Baldwin. In 1993, Jerry Nafee was elected president of Baldwin, and he led the acquisition of the Acrotech Group in 1995. This is also the time when I became a part of the Baldwin team. At that same time frame, Baldwin presented another groundbreaking product innovation to his customers, the pre-pack technology, a pre-impregnated cleaning cloth roll for automatic blanket cleaners. Pre-pack made the cleaning process faster, made it cleaner, and environmentally friendly, at the same time as it simplified and made the printers work safer. The global recession at the end of 2008 certainly challenged the print industry and also Baldwin. This, in combination with an offset print market that is rapidly changing and continuing to decline at this time, led to another significant milestone in Baldwin's history. And this was when Foresight Partners acquired all the shares in the company and took us private in 2012. With Foresight Partners, I think our owner, the strategic business planning process quickly changed from a short-term planning to a long-term planning. The financial stability now allowed us to reposition ourselves and invest in the business model with the objective to start driving growth in print, but also other industrial processes. The first acquisition was accomplished under new ownership in 2014 when we acquired WPC, a manufacturer of vision technology for the newspaper and commercial web applications. This acquisition has since been followed by several other key ones, like AMS, the world #1 LED UV curing system provider. Albrand, a leader in the manufacture of high-energy corona technology for the packaging industry. PC Industries, a leader of vision inspection focusing on the label and security print applications. And finally, Quadtech, a leading manufacturer of vision inspection technology for offset and packaging. These acquisitions have, of course, further strengthened our presence in the offset print industry. But more important for our future growth was that we could, with these acquisitions, quickly build a strong presence in the print packaging space, a growing part of global print. The senior leadership team with Joe Klein, our CEO, are focused on continuing to grow in print at the same time as we intentionally continue to diversify ourselves into new industries by bringing technology from our print portfolio into new industrial processes outside of the print market. I want to highlight a few examples. During the last couple of years, we have established our surface cleaning technology into the film extrusion applications. We have taken our precision spray technology and developed that and positioned it into the textile finishing and tissue industries. And our high energy LED UV technology we've been bringing into the electronics industry. All of these endeavors is, of course, adding a lot of future growth opportunities and possibilities for Baldwin. We will come back on these industrial projects in upcoming episodes of our podcast, as these are all new chapters to be written into the history of Baldwin. Tyler, I could obviously go on for much longer. There are so many exciting things that Baldwin had contributed with to the print industry and now also started contributing to industries outside of print. But I think this will be a good place to hand it back to you.
Peter, let's talk a little bit more specifically about your role, because in addition to what you do as the Chief Commercial Officer, you also head its Vision Systems segment. Can you give us a little snapshot of what Vision Systems has to offer and the applications for that technology?
Yeah, that's correct. I temporarily the selling organization of our Vision segment. When we look at the Vision System, it's actually a combination of three companies. The WPC company that we acquired back in 2014. We then went on in 2017, acquired a company called PC Industries. And in 2017 as well, we added Quadtech to that. So that actually provides us with a portfolio of vision systems that we design and manufacture on a daily basis, which is one of the industry's most advanced color management and inspection technology solutions that helps our customers to achieve print quality perfection. So what we basically do, we automate all of their workflows. We help to manage the increasing complexity and also the standards of quality that's being increased by the customers to our customers. So that's predominantly what we do. uh, when we look at those combined units, we originally with WPC, we were basically into the newspaper and the commercial web markets. But with the addition of PC Industries and Quadtech, we actually entered into the packaging space, and we entered into the security print installations as well. So we basically covered the complete spectrum of print today, from traditional offset into flexogravure and into the security space itself. So it's a very exciting part of our business with great products.
That's fantastic. And I think one of the things that just from the early part of this conversation that I've gathered is that with Baldwin, you don't have a company that's been around for as long as you have without undertaking some risk and going through some evolutions and constantly changing and evolving as you need to. Peter, from your perspective, how has that? What are some of the qualities of Baldwin as a company? Do you feel like helps it adapt to current times and helps it continue to evolve as time goes on to still be a company that is alive and thriving 103 years later?
Yeah, you know, without evolving, you probably wouldn't survive, because looking at Baldwin, that's one of our strengths. When I joined 20 plus years ago, it was predominantly a company servicing the print offset space. So basically newspapers, magazine printers, sheet fed printers. Today, when we look at those markets, first of all, the automation level in those markets have increasingly grown throughout the years. And this is where Baldwin's strength is, to take the customer processes, automate them, and make sure that we can deliver the quality and the cost control that they need to be competitive in those markets. But we also know that those markets have changed a lot. We see newspapers is changing in the terms of many of them going digital. So we see younger people adapting more to that. And with that, there's demands on companies like Baldwin to change as well. So with many of those acquisitions, specifically after 2012, when Foresight Partners came in, when we look at many of those acquisitions like AMS, WPC, PCI, Allbrand, which is another German company doing Corona technology and rotor spray technology that we acquired, we have actually turned the company from only being in the offset space to now also being in the packaging space. And the packaging space is a growing part of print, and it's a part where we want to be. And when we look at our product portfolio that we bring to those customers, we probably have one of the broadest portfolios to improve process performance in their print space compared to any other competitor around the globe, which is very, very interesting. But it's also so that when you look at the technology that Baldwin have developed for print, we have to keep in mind offset printing is one of the fastest processes in industrial production. We have substrates moving with speeds of up to 12 to 15 meters per second through a 60-meter long machine, sometimes up to 100-meter long machine. And that takes a lot of process control to be able to do that. It is also an industry where you have a lot of volume. So we have been able to balance that volume. And as we look at the technology and the costing levels that we have been able to sort of establish throughout those years, when we then start looking at other industries like textile, like plastic film extrusion production, the tissue non-woven productions, the corrugated space, areas where Baldwin didn't play in 10 years ago even, we have managed to take those technologies into those areas and been able to establish our spray technology into textile. We have our Corona technology into the tissue non-woven and into the plastic film extrusion. So it's truly exciting to see how all of those great innovation done by some extraordinary people that we have throughout our organization, that we can actually take that from one industry into other industries and start growing and add value into those customers as well.
Certainly, absolutely. Thank you for your insights and for that answer, Peter. I think that was a fantastic way to put that. And speaking of growing and speaking of expanding and that sort of thing, Steve Metcalf, CMO and IoT officer, he was the founder of one of the many companies acquired by Baldwin, AMS Spectral UV, which manufactures LED, UV, and IR curing and drying systems for commercial printing and other industrial applications. And now, as I mentioned, he's Baldwin's chief marketing officer and IoT officer and executive chairman of its AMS Spectral UV business. And so, Steve, from the perspective of an innovator acquired by Baldwin, who's now an integral part of the executive team there and the vision of the company, can you share your thoughts on what sets Baldwin apart and what you are able to bring to the company?
Yeah, thanks. And it's really it's a pleasure to be part of this larger family now. When we were with AMS, and so when you think about all of the companies that have been acquired by Baldwin, really since around the 2006 timeframe, it's expanding the touch and process. So all of these companies were maybe you would call best in breed. We were really focused in deep in an area. So AMS, Air Motion Systems, as a lot of people knew us at that time, was an innovator, an extreme innovator in the idea of UV curing. And as UV technology, ultraviolet curing was beginning to shift to LED-based technology using light-emitting diodes to create UV wavelength. That happened around sort of the 2009, 2010 timeframe, and AMS, with the leadership of people that worked for me at the time and a lot of very talented people, really got into the sort of early wave of the LED UV market and began expanding the application of it from sort of a toy system that could be used in a lab into production systems at high power and high intensity. And so AMS was an innovator and moving very quickly in the markets. And we would look at other companies that were acquired by Baldwin, Allbrandt, the same thing with Corona Treatment, PC Industries and inspection technology, and of course Quadtech, as Peter mentioned earlier. So these companies that were so focused in these, deep and depth and area of process and enhancement technology for certain markets were brought together into this Baldwin family. And so the whole idea is, well, why would that matter? What's other than sort of a bigger family, and obviously there's a lot of benefits to being part of a larger company. Just the worldwide reach, service and support, other resources we can bring to bear. But what's really exciting is how we can start connecting technologies on machines. So a lot of these technologies, when you think about, let's say, a packaging web machine, you'd have a UV or LED curing system. You'll have a Corona treatment doing surface treatment on stock as it rolls into the machine. You'll have inspection that looks for defects as you have the printed image come off the end. And so all of these things are touching the machines. You have cleaning devices and so forth. And one of our strategies, which is so exciting, is really connecting technology for customers and bringing additional value through the touch points we have. And there's a lot of good companies out there that have point solutions in these spaces. We competed every day as AMS against some good companies, but at the end of the day, there's no other company other than Baldwin that can connect all these in one portfolio end to end, and then bring some additional value. And that's where the IoT part of my role comes in. So the IoT, which is the Internet of Things, and many people are familiar with IoT, in consumer devices now. When you have a Google Assist or an Alexa device in your home that controls things, we're using Internet of Things to connect the process automation technologies, these touch points that we have, and unlocking a massive amount of data that they have, and bringing this together into a platform. And it's very exciting. This is a new thing that's in development right now that we'll be bringing into the market this year, and already have customers beginning to take advantage of this type of platform. So it's not just connecting technology from one company from a single source service support model, but it's also connecting it at a value level with data and information, which is where we see the industry going next. You hear about Industry 4.0 and all these things that are coming, and this is something that Baldwin's been hard at work at here the last few years, and we're super excited about that vision. And Baldwin also is an acquisition platform. So as we go forward into the next few years, other companies that add value to this platform of Baldwin in process automation we'll be looking at.
Absolutely. And Steve, I think 2020 was a year that none of us really expected to see, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty about what's coming up in 2021. And so this leads me to the question: why a podcast? What are you hoping to achieve with the podcast at Baldwin, and what are some of your goals and hopes for the podcast as it moves forward?
Well, yeah. So first of all, most of us sitting here haven't been to any kind of trade event, and probably haven't even done much travel unless we were in a service or support role since the pandemic started, and that was it's almost a year now. So one of the things that's been lacking, our largest industrial market, which is printing, has a trade show called Drupa that happens every 4 years. And Drupa was supposed to happen last year, and it got rescheduled, and then it got outright canceled altogether. So it's not happening for another 4 years. And we look at a lot of the other shows that are specific to packaging or label production, and these aren't happening. So the idea of the sort of person-to-person networking and all the things that happen when you discuss technology and you bring ideas forward, and the excitement of these shows is missing. And it'll be really off the radar, we think, probably for the bulk of this year. And I know it'll eventually return, but one of the ideas about the podcast was a way to start getting that information, sharing the information a little more conversationally, the ideas, the innovations that can help our customers, our partners, bring ideas to them, share what we see in the market, what some of the exciting applications of things, what customers are doing with technologies. We plan to bring experts in across our company as well as some of our partners, and discuss ideas, trends, all kinds of things that we think we can do a better job. So this idea of a podcast is really to get to stay conversational, to stay engaged with our market, our customers, and find another medium to share information coming from Baldwin.
I think that's fantastic, and you're absolutely right. I think many of us have missed that face-to-face interaction, but podcasts are an incredible way of being able to share a lot of that information with people and to have conversations that we've really been missing out on quite a bit. And so, Steve, as you begin to look forward and look towards the future of what Baldwin's going to do, what excites you? What are you pumped up about as you look ahead and look at what Baldwin is doing in the future?
Well, at heart, we're a technology company. And so what's so cool about all of these areas that we're involved in, from vision technology to UV curing technology to cleaning technology, cleaning automation, spray automation, these are all technology fields. And I think a lot of people know this, but maybe don't think about it every day, is technology is growing at an exponential rate. The idea of processing power in computational devices, there's so much opportunity to take what sort of used to be considered more of a standalone, an automation system, maybe that was doing automatic cleaning on a cylinder or a roll, or something that was treating a surface or curing something or inspecting something. These traditionally have always been thought of as standalone products and technologies. They had their own sort of circle of control. They touched the machine and they communicated basic information back and forth to the machine about the process. What's really cool now is the ability to unlock that information and begin to merge it together to form a bigger picture about process control. So as customers start looking at these machines and these touch points of process that Baldwin's involved in, we can begin to develop insights through data, because data is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And the ability to run analytics, the ability to run it in cloud, the ability to look for things that, a lot of our customers, know that they've experienced problems or they've seen things that generate maybe waste or quality problems over the years. And they have probably a good intuition as to what's happening, but they've never had the data to support that intuition. And they've never been able to see it in a way that we can now see it. So what's really exciting about what Baldwin's doing is beginning to, as I said earlier, connect the technologies together at a fundamental level using IoT platform technology, and use data analytics, use other tools to start bringing intelligence further, be able to allow algorithms to be developed for customers that are really focused on process and quality. And as Peter mentioned earlier in the conversation, ultimately all of these products, many of these products are going to brand owners. They're going to companies that care about their consistency, their brand, whether it's a prime label, whether it's a color such as Starbucks, there's color control. These things are so important. And as packaging especially becomes sort of the normal mode of the future. You know, we sit around in our homes now, and we basically receive a lot of packages every day or every week. Having brand consistency, all of these things matter. And so one of the cool things about tying this together is that we can really start to bring the information out of these standalone systems and bring insights to it that we've never had before. So Baldwin is really becoming more of a tech company in that regard, connecting these technologies together. And there's so much to do. And so there are so many innovations that have yet to come that we're very excited to work on and be a part of. And we'll talk about that in some of our future podcast episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. I am eagerly looking forward to future episodes where we're going to drill down to specific industrial enhancements and automation topics that can help improve and expand process potential across, multiple different industries. And so this has been, I think, a great primer for what's coming up next, and I can't wait to keep going with more and more episodes of the podcast. And so, Peter and Steve, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this inaugural episode of the podcast, and I'm looking forward to many more.
Thank you very much, Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this first episode of Unlocking Potential, a Baldwin technology podcast. And now that you have a big picture of Baldwin's structure and its offerings and a little bit more about its history, we're going to drill down in future episodes to specific industrial enhancement and automation solutions that are going to continually improve and expand the possibilities in today's fast-changing landscape. And we're going to have episodes on topics like the fascinating world of security and banknote printing, top considerations for UV and LED curing systems in industrial applications, the evolution of technical consumables in the world of automated cleaning, and so much more. So you're going to want to stay tuned for those episodes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts to make sure you stay up to date with the latest episode. And we will be back soon with more content and more episodes of Unlocking Potential, a Baldwin technology podcast. But until then, I've been your host today, Tyler Kern. Thanks for listening.